Once upon a time, a king had asked the queen for her hand. Trouble meant that they left and gave birth to their princess in a new land. This land was said to flow with milk and honey, so it was funny when the council first turned out the lights. No rights. They soon found that this land flowing with milk and honey only directed its flow to those who had money, and so they lived bummy, because they had come from a land where a man was considered wealthy when he had soul. So as the princess aged, she watched her parents slave away for minimum wage, and she realized, dreams? They only became reality for those who chose to stay asleep. The princess learnt about life growing up in the streets of South Kilburn. She went to secondary school in Harlesden, got an A-star, 7 A's and 3 B's in GCSE, an A-star and 2 B's in A-level and 2-1 in her degree, but no surprise when she didn't see any jobs that matched up to her qualities or expertise. Most of her friends were out here working for free, and some of them didn't even know when their next meal would even be because they'd been robbed. You see, all of them had had big dreams and had trusted in a system that had made it seem like hard work was all you needed. No mention of the fact that your soul would be depleted, and that you could study law but still end up being a sales advisor in an inner city store, and what for? For the government to increase tuition fees, whilst reducing the funding for youth centres that would help keep young black boys off the streets. The education system was parading itself as building our youth for tomorrow to lead, but if you look around, you see, it's just an institution that teaches creative minds to become grazing sheep, to fall asleep, and dream only to see that reality still leads. All you see behind your eyelids is all your dreams will ever be. The princess feared for her brothers. You see, every time one of them went outside, she knew one wrong look could end his life, because the streets were rife with high ego, low achieving brothers with knives who wouldn't think twice about stabbing up another man because they claim he came on a hype and they know it's not right, but man them are making the best out of what they see. We're enacting a culture endorsed by American gangster movies because every man wants to be a G. Penthouse living overlooking the slums of the streets, overlooking the slums of the ends, using illegal funding to buy them a Benz, but the princess could not blame them. You see, a black man from round here would struggle to make it out alive. If his only source of income was a mundane 9 to 5, the amount that he would make would barely cover London rent, then all the time he would have spent building another man's dream would have been time wasted when jail bars he still put in between, because a random stop and search had found a couple grams of weed and he was on his last warning, so says goodbye to being free. Now for the next couple months he won't get to see his seed. And too many youths like that did the princess know. Mums were always at work and dads were never at home, if dads were even known. See, man them, they didn't get taught to be men by men. Instead, they internalized the voices of bitter and hurt women, and girls, they never got the affirmation of a father. Finding self-worth and love and relationships just full of drama, or because of no armor, every man out here without protection, never seeing that their carelessness was a projection of a future where their seeds will be watered by rejection and choked by the weeds of insecurity and deception. And see, the princess had learned a lesson. No, this land would never hand what was due to a girl or a man from another land what they could give to someone who looked more like a member of their kin. And to be more explicit, I hope I don't elicit a negative response, but when I say more like a member of their kin, I mean someone who shared the same pigment of their skin. Woo! And so the princess grew angry, because every day the news was reporting a new stabbing on the ends. More girls were falling pregnant with no fathers, no men, and she had about 5 friends who were in prison or were dead, but she couldn't figure out whether to help the ends or just save herself instead. But then her anger subsided, and she said a prayer with tears in her eyes that, Lord, if you hear, then I know you can speak. Send a message to your people where they're becoming too weak. The future looks bleak as peak. Then the princess heard a voice of a distant land. It had belonged to her fathers and was covered in sand. The voice whispered like a wave, and like a crash it sang, and it said, Princess, tell my people what they know is true, that the answer to their problems is in nothing new. And I knew how you would struggle, so I made a plan and put the answer in a place where no single man would ever think to look, but now the time is due. Tell my sons and tell my daughters the answer's in you. Thank you.